During the Tsarist times, I'm not going to say about the Soviet era times. It's to blame ourselves that we scared not only the West, America, but the whole of the world. You've got to remember the slogan, World Communist Regime. All the parties and communist parties were financed through the Soviet era money. You've got to remember the world map. Latin America and with Cuba, we just came close to the United States and stationed nukes. We've got to talk about the security measures. I'm agreeable that we have brought up the feeling of scared, the communist scaredness. The whole of the world gonna be scared if we demonstrate the terrorism we have created in our country. If you, for example, talking about Vietnam, it's a terrorist state. For example, Guatemala, back in Soviet era times, where the first president, the government was toppled down, it was brought down, and there was a coup. We could have come there and protected them, but Stalin didn't want to interfere into internal affairs of state. Greeks applied to us the leftist powers and to protect them. And Stalin used to hesitate and didn't protect them. He was thinking that he would just ease the relations with the United States. He had to take into his hands Greece. And nowadays, for example, talking about Gaddafi, he is asking to take the military bases down there to ensure his security. Nowadays, it's our own security. If we go to Gaddafi, it's the closest region to Russia, for example, Iraq. Also asked for protecting itself, Afghanistan, and we just flee Afghanistan. That's absolutely wrong, you know. Do you think we've got to scare everybody around the globe or put bases? We've got to scare everybody because the United States is a cowboy country. They know nothing except just taking control of the reins and just riding the horse far away into the prairies. And we have fairly stated that we're gonna just nuke the United States, and the US military had to report Trump that we can take and deal a nuclear blow to the United States. And everybody would have had a heart failure after learning that Russia's gonna nuke the United States. And all the United States citizens would have fled away to the bomb shelters. And in Russia, nobody flees anywhere because they are courageous, they are brave people, and we have been brought in such a spirit up. If we ran away from snipers when with a short breath in 1962, when there was a Caribbean or the Cuban crisis, Cuba crisis, everywhere the United States had put into the papers that there is here you can take a bomb shelter. I will be walking outside in the streets and nobody from the United States are gonna make me feel scared, even if they threat with nukes. We've got to have some bomb shelters, and I was so much surprised at about the bravery of the Russian people. We could have entered into the bomb shells even with the temperatures dropped down 40 degrees below zero. If you speak in such a spirit about Russia, why are you feeling so much hurt when the Russian top ranking officials are blacklisted, something like that? Why you are feeling hurt that America is a world evil power? Why do you feel so much hurt and uneasy about that? And we are not so much close just thinking that the United States is a rogue and different country, because down there is the Iran and North Korea. And for example, I'm not paying any heed to you. You are tired of being in the United States and you have drifted back to Russia. you have got to go and feel homeless and being a street walk or something like that. We're gonna give you some shelter and some dog food. This means that we are paying no heed. For example, if we have blacklists that we've got the richest people in the world, what kind of the blacklists are you talking about? Is that true that you asked your deputies to pay some 400 billion rubles so that not get jailed? If everybody pays 1 million rubles, they would be able to provide our presidential, to be able to make my presidential campaign a reality. We are not afraid of everything from the United States. We're absolutely happy. Why are you talking that you are representing the greatest and the superpower of the world, the United States? You've got to be sorry for that and feel uneasy when you make such blacklists, and this means that you are a little bit hurt and feeling bad about Russia and unhappy. And we've got the most sophisticated hackers in Russia. We can. While the deputy's son was imprisoned, he's taken, and he wasn't disabled, and he was taken into the prison because you need new Russian brain power. And Mr. Zhirinovsky is killing everybody with his own figures without even tweeting. I'm addressing to all the internet users. For example, in China there is 700 million people who use the internet, and 90% here they use, and in China they use only 50% of internet. Everybody's gonna be absolutely understandable how literate the population is. And Trump's Twitter, for example, check only the same people, the same group of people. And are you thinking that Buzova, this is reality TV, stole it in Russia, and she's compared to be even more popular than Mr. Trump in America? And in the provinces, we were so much scared because day and night we heard all the time that Eisenhower, throughout 70 years, the whole of the country was scared from the United States.